Did the Walt Disney Company really buy shills and influencers to cheer on Avengers Doomsday, afraid that Infinity Vision would be booed off the stage at CinemaCon? Let's talk about that. Hello, friends. Hello. Welcome yet again to the channel that continues to change hearts and minds simply by telling the truth every single time. As we dive in today, consider clicking that like button. And folks, prepare yourselves, for we are about to provide you with a PhD level of understanding into just how deeply Disney will go to try to defend their persona, their integrity, when they're faced with a situation where they might not be so popular. Let's dive in right now. All right, here it is, perhaps one of the saddest stories you're going to see for a while from the Walt Disney Company. Caught red-handed? Well, maybe. That Park Place has it by Trevor Denning. Did Disney stack Avengers Doomsday CinemaCon panel with paid influencers, aka shills, to manufacture a Marvel momentum? And dare I say, folks, to stop the boos that could have been thrown their way with the announcement of Infinity Vision. The article says CinemaCon is an annual trade event held in Las Vegas, where film studios showcase upcoming films and trailers that they present directly to theater owners, exhibitors, and members of the press in attendance. Disney was prominently featured this year's CinemaCon with a trailer for Avengers Doomsday scheduled for release this December. The presentation drew an exceptionally enthusiastic reaction from the audience in the room. Now, some are openly questioning if it was organic. Unlike public fan events like Comic-Con, CinemaCon attendance is primarily industry-based rather than general admission. Access is usually limited to accredited professionals, exhibitors, and invited media guests. Speaking in the podcast, The Town, host Matt Bellany said this: the people that were hooting and screaming, they were paid plants. He noted that Disney has denied the allegation while adding that his sense was that there were clearly influencers there. One of Bellany's guests, Amanda Dobbins, agreed, quote, there was a core group of people who were given access to the CinemaCon who were not there last year and who were very clearly given access because of their particular interest in Doomsday. On Monday night's Versus YouTube show, friend of the channel, Chris Gore from Film Thread echoed Bellany's impressions. He said that he was seated next to a group of people that whooped and hollered in an over-the-top way during Disney and Marvel presentations. Gore underscored the point, adding, it felt fake. It felt super fake. All right, gentlemen, here's why I think why Disney had to do it. And maybe they didn't do it, but I think they did it. And here's why I think they had to do it. Because CinemaCon is filled with all kinds of people who, one of the things that they love is they love great screens. And there's no better screen than IMAX. And Disney came out and went on attack mode, went into a crazy attack versus IMAX with this new Infinity Vision thing that is so ridiculously silly. It's them pouting because Dune 3 has IMAX and they don't. And I think, Kevin, they knew that if they came out and announced Infinity Vision, which everybody there, of all the people in the world, they were going to sniff this out and know this is a bunch of nonsense. These are theaters that already exist that you're not doing anything for. You're just declaring, hey, these are great theaters. You should go see our special cut over here. I think they were worried they were going to get a negative reaction, and they filled the front rows with shills. What say you, Kevin?
I agree. I maintain my position, the same one I voiced on Lord on Apollo on Friday. Whoever thought of Infinity Vision should be fired. As a matter of fact, I think they should be excommunicated from the planet. It is the worst, the absolute worst, de-chilling attempt at trying to feign relevancy ever. We understand what THX was because it was awesome. And it was an actual.
And every dang one of us cranked the crap out of the volume when it pulled
absolutely. So with Infinity Vision, yay! Stop it! It's imaginary. It stinks. Just move your stupid date to your stupid movie that no one cares about. So I get they had to, because if there was going to be an honest reaction in the room, people would have laughed. After they were done being confused by the Infinity Vision announcement, they would have started laughing at the Infinity Vision announcement. So they had to chill it up. This is one of those times where I go, Disney actually did the smart thing. Now we all know the smart thing is not always the most honorable thing when it comes to Disney, but this was smart on their part, because this is the most pathetic attempt at trying to punish someone for not bending the knee I have ever seen. And it just really shows you how out of touch with where the public is and with what the theaters need versus where Disney's head is at. Just of the sheer fact that theaters are clinging on to dear life, Disney should have moved its date.
Yeah, and it's making everybody angry that they won't move the date. It's making everybody angry. Either accept that you're
Disney
not
thinks the industry revolves around them.
Oh, they think they can hip check it.
There.
Hey, Andrew,
it did
let me,
for a while.
Andrew, let me ask you about this, and we may have a slight delay, but let me ask you about this, Andrew. The talk going into CinemaCon was Disney was going to pull out all the stops. This was going to be huge. This was going to be the moment that we all realized just how amazing Avengers Doomsday is going to be. And it turns out, Andrew, we got basically nothing out of this, out of CinemaCon. There's no big stories. Nobody's super excited. It's just nothing. We are running out of time. When are they going to turn on whatever's going to win people over to the box office for Avengers Doomsday?
I think they're hoping that the movie itself does that. And right now, they don't have that luxury because they lost the audience's interest in large part. We're well into the apathy phase. Nobody cares anymore, right? So this could be a blast of a movie. This could be, one of the better Avengers movies. I'm willing to believe that. But the fact of the matter is, those people just don't care. They're not interested. They're checked out. Right. And so they have not gotten it through their thick freaking skulls that they need to do everything imaginable leading up to the actual theatrical release date of this film to get people excited. And they're not. All they've done is release, a handful of 15-second little teaser clips about each of the characters that's going to show up. Yeah, of course they're all going to show up. Everybody expected that already. Are you surprising anyone right now? No.
Andrew, the other problem
this is based on comic books. I've been reading comic books since I was 8 years old. And at 8.5 years old, I knew when people died, it didn't matter.
Right. Andrew, the other problem is that they've never faced this before. There are AI videos out there of fake scenes, of how it should start, of how it should end. And they're just, Marvel is describing what's going to be in the movie to some degree. And people are already making AI versions of it that might be better than what's in the movie when it releases. We need something that impresses people at some point that makes people say, yep, I can't make that on Grok Imagine. C-Dance can't do that. You guys got me. I'm there. I'm going. And so far, there's nothing, Andrew. Nothing. So it's no shock that they would need to send in the shills.
I mean, that's been media for a while, a very long while, honestly. Like we see that with every big AAA game release, because the big Twitch streamers will get, the free codes and, they'll get obviously all the views and promotional stuff from the publishers and this and that. We see that with the trades. We see this with everything. I mean,
we used to even see this, Andrew.
News, but it does speak to the fact that they can't rely on just the product speaking for itself.
We used to even see this, and I don't know if it still continues. I'm not going to disparage anybody or any company, but we used to even see this to the point that video game companies would do all sorts of nice things for mods on Reddit, with the understanding that the Reddit mods would shut down anything that went against the company. So you're right. We've seen this for a long time. But Lauren, speaking to the idea that Disney knew they needed some people maybe there to help celebrate with them. That's not what you need, for example, at Godzilla Minus Zero. We all see it and we go, wow, that looks incredible. It's not what you need for Spaceballs 2. It's not what you needed for Project Hail Mary. And by the way, I don't think anybody out there can make a Project Hail Mary because it's so unique and amazing when you go see it. Amaze, that it's original. And that's what people are looking for. What is it that's going to be special again in theaters? And so far, Disney's struggling to find it.
Yeah, and it's incredibly short-sighted to take a strategy like this, too, because at best what you're going to do is hype up the audience that wasn't there to see the trailer into thinking maybe this is a good movie. If it's not, you haven't helped the franchise. You've captured some dollars in the short term, but you've continued to ruin the legacy in the long term. So it's terrible strategic thinking if they did do this. So I don't know what to advise them other than the same advice I would give to Star Wars, which is You need to start thinking smaller again. Smaller budgets, smaller stories, and focus on the characters. Stop worrying about making everything galaxy spanning and universe ending and multiverse ending. You go so big at a certain point that the stakes, they're no longer measurable. And when that happens, the audience checks out. Also, stop disparaging your audience. It doesn't help at all.
Somehow the shills returned.
I would say, here's the thing though, they can't go small. They are so devoid of creativity, and like I say this all the time, of life experience, of knowledge of classic literature. We are stuck with people from a very myopic thought bubble who have nepotism their way through, and they only write what they see on TV. They write what they think they know, not what they know. So everything has to be galaxy world ending, mega destruction spanning, because they can't tell a simple story. Most of these people have never had a genuine conversation with another human being. So they can't storytell. And the great purchaser, he didn't purchase talent. He purchased IPs to strip mine because he figured, well, I'll buy this comic book company. They've got 70 to 80 years worth of blood diamonds I can extract from it. And then didn't count on the fact that one of his main hires would go, we can do it better. Oops, we can't go back and do that stuff now. And now they are stuck. They're stuck. Marvel is stuck. Star Wars is stuck. Whatever else they haven't unleashed from the Fox archives is stuck. They are just stuck. The talent isn't there.
What they ought to be looking at, in my opinion, is one of the best lines, I think, in the entire Marvel canon, is when Iron Man tells Peter, if you need the suit to be Superman, then you shouldn't have it, because it forced Spider-Man to think about things differently. It's like when you get to the near climax of that movie, and he's beaten badly by the Vulture, and he's got the whole building collapsed on him, and he's got to lift it up again. He's beat bloody, and yet he's still coming back. You need to get that scrappy kind of an attitude back. When you have superheroes that have all of the resources in the world at their disposal, it's difficult to relate to them. That's part of the reason why I think something like Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four maybe is a little bit disconnected. Sometimes when you take the powers away from the characters and force them to deal with things on a smaller level, it forces them to remember, what is it that made that person a hero in the first place? And how do they act when they don't have all of those support systems around them? That's what really makes them a hero.
But again, look at the creative team. There's a reason why that creative team, along with John Watts, came back and gave you a very successful second movie. There's a reason why that creative team, although it did not perform well, was celebrated for what they attempted to do with Dungeons and Dragons, which is why the Ellisons have given them Star Trek. So if Disney was smart, it's not about purchasing IP. Now it's about going out there and finding talented people who aren't going to bore us to death with the message or the same old. We've had that for the last 20 years, and it's killed the movie theater business. It's polarized audiences to the point that no one wants to hear about anything anymore. And frankly, it's killed the toy industry because no one cares about merchandise anymore.
Bottom line, bring us back, and you won't need the shills anymore. Well, folks, we've come to the end of another video of pure excellence and fun, explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. That's what we hope you believe we've just done. And why should you believe it? Well, because we've done our very best to make it so, to be true, to be factual, and to do what the mainstream so-called access journalists simply won't. Folks, you can help share this out across the fruited plains of YouTube by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to say sayonara for now, we ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep having fun.